Hey, push Panthers. So today, you guys are going to do something a little different. Normally, I would have you guys do this in small groups, but the whole COVID thing, and the virus and da. So we can't do that. And half of you at home, half of you are here. I mean, just the whole ordeal here. So here's what we're doing today. Today you guys are going to figure out, we're going to take a break from putting together the countries because there's a shift that has taken place in labor in the United States, or in the colonies at this time. There's a shift that's taking place in labor. So before we put the final pieces of the colonies in, we're going to look at why this shift in labor took place. So we've talked about involuntary servitude, which is basically slavery on a contract, right? They initially, when they first came over to Virginia Company in 1607, they signed up a bunch of mostly young men to these contracts where they agreed to essentially be a slave, where they'd come over, they would learn a trade, and then at the end of their contract, they would be free to hopefully go do that trade. Well, eventually, at some point in time, indentured servitude was replaced by slavery. So we're going to look at today and try to figure out why this took place. Why did slavery replace indentured servitude? Why did slavery become a more attractive or more cost-effective way than indentured servitude? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to read this background reading here. It's very short, 3 paragraphs. There's a little brief synopsis of what you're going to do here, your task. You're going to work through a series of documents. As you go through these documents, you're going to keep in mind 2 questions that you need to ask of each of these documents. Why might there be problems or issues with involuntary servitude? Why might colonists have viewed slavery as a better option? There's a grid that I will show you here in a minute that you will fill out all of this information for each document on. After you've filled out that grid and you've worked your way through the documents, you're going to write a final answer why you think slavery replaced indentured servitude at the end. When you write your answer, why slavery replaced indentured servitude, you're going to also include evidence from the documents, and you're going to cite where that evidence came from, what document that evidence came from. So you'll come down, there's a series of documents here. Some of them are graphs. Okay, the population growth of Virginia, and it shows you how the colonies grew. The production and price of tobacco in the American colonies. Now a shilling, I've broken it down here. A shilling is a penny, 12 pennies is, or 2 farthings is a penny, 12 pennies is a shilling, 20 shillings is a pound, which would be equal to a dollar. Just keep that in mind. So this is the amount of tobacco shipped, and this is what they got paid, and then obviously the year. This is a form contract where they just fill in the blanks where it says blank, 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 blank. They just fill in the blanks, and it's a indentured servitude contract. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you're reading these, at this time, 1600s, even into the 1700s, there is not any accepted way to spell things. People spelled things the way they thought it was spelled. There was no accepted way of spelling like we have today. Everybody agrees there's a certain way to spell things. Back then there wasn't. So a lot of times as you're reading this, things are spelled exactly the way they sound. They're spelled phonetically, which for a lot of you would be fantastic, right? Because that's the way a lot of you spell. Back then, that's the way everybody spelled. There was no conventional means of spelling. So just keep that in mind as you read this, because some things are very misspelled. There's also capitalization in weird places. Things that should be capitalized are not capitalized. Things that shouldn't be capitalized are capitalized, same thing. There's no accepted writing conventions, universal writing conventions back then about what you capitalize, what you don't, where you put a period, where you put a comma. None of that existed back then. So a lot of it was made up. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully that'll help you get past a lot of the misspellings and a lot of the conventional errors. This is from a book about slavery. This is from another book about slavery. Okay. And then, again, here, all sentence structures have been transcribed as they were originally written, spellings, punctuations. Again, this is from 1662. There's no writing conventions back then. There's no accepted, this is the way we write. So just keep that in mind as you're reading this. This is a bill of sale. Again, no spelling, writing conventions. This is a map showing slavery as it grew in the United States. And then there's a mystery document. And the mystery document we've spoken about in class. So I want to see if you can pick up what this mystery document, where this mystery document came from, what it is that they're talking about. After you've gone through these documents, you're going to come down here and you're going to fill in this grid. And you're going to answer from document 1, which is population growth of Virginia here. You're going to write down possible evidence of possible issues or problems with indentured servitude and explain what they are there. And then just provide the proof, right? Where in the document does it show that? Why might colonists have seen slavery as a better solution? Is there anything in there, in that document, that would answer that question, would help answer that question? And again, you provide the proof. And it's the exact same questions for all of the documents. Right? Document 7, slave bill of sale, exact same questions. Map of African population and colonies, exact same answers. And then in the mystery document, I want to see if you can figure out who wrote it, when they wrote it, and then the evidence, what in there tells you that this is where this came from. This is who wrote this. This is when it was written. We have spoken about it, so I want to see if you got it. And then, in case you didn't get it, go to the next page. And then down here, in this space here, you're going to write your answer. Why did slavery replace indentured servitude? In a pretty short period of time. We go 60 years from indentured servitude to slavery. Why do you think that happened? And again, be sure to include evidence from the documents to support your opinions. Remember, just because you say it doesn't make it true. Right? If you have any questions, you have any problems or anything, I can be on Zoom during class today because in class they'll be doing the exact same thing. So I can be on Zoom, or you can message me on Remind, or you can send me an email. I'll be right here. And then, of course, I'll be available after school today, after you guys get out from, 12:30 to 3 o'clock. I'll be available. I'll be on Zoom from that time as well. All right. I will check in with you later, Panthers. See you on Wednesday.